The dreamer they called him, for that was what he was best known to do. Dream, dream, and dream again. He was sold as a slave by his brothers. He was sent to the prison, but he kept dreaming until he got to the palace. This is a true life story of someone who kept dreaming until he got the result. Friends, there comes a time when everyone needs to have a dream, despite the hurdles, troubles, rumbles, and stumbles. Stay connected as you get high in spirit with Yemi Adio. Remember, the dream is worth the price.
Hello, I am Yemi Adeoti, your host on this program, Dare to Dream. I welcome you to another inspiring edition, and may your hopes and aspirations concerning today be fulfilled in the mighty name of Jesus. I have been speaking on the subject of understanding the true meaning of failure, and I really believe you have been blessed with the things we have examined so far. I have shared with you 7 things that failure does not represent, and my intention today is to look at what failure really means. A lot of people don't really understand the true meaning of failure, and this is why we want to look at this issue critically today. Who is a failure, and when does someone become a failure? These and many more are some of the issues at stake in this part of this message. I believe you will be a far better person at the end of our discussion, and so without wasting time, I'd like us to look at 7 things that failure truly represents. Point number 1, a failure is someone who refuses to learn from his mistakes. Making a mistake or an error does not make you a failure. Rather, it's refusing to profit from your blunders that makes you a failure. The fact that you failed an exam does not make you a failure, but it's when you don't profit from your failures that you become a failure. This is why we need to have a new understanding of failure. You also need to make a paradigm shift in your minds. One is not a failure because he or she fails. One is a failure because he or she refuses to learn from their failures. Are you profiting from your failures? If the answer is yes, then you are not a failure. But if the answer is the other way around, then it means you are fulfilling the conditions of being a failure. Your refusal to learn from your failures is what makes you a failure and not your failures. This is why you need to be focused on learning and not having a closed mind. Be open to change, and change is the proof that you are learning something new. Don't shut off your mind. The way to progress and advancement is by having an open mind, a mind that is willing to learn and become better. This is why the good book says in Proverbs 29 verse 1 that he who is often reproved and yet hardens his neck shall suddenly be destroyed, and that without remedy. May this never be your portion. Don't become a scorner or a mocker, because they don't take delight in correction, neither will they go to the wise. Make sure you are profiting from your failures. Make sure you are getting better and not bitter. Instead of pointing accusing fingers at others, begin to ask the right kind of questions. Make sure you learn from your past, otherwise you stand the risk of repeating the same mistakes again and again. May this new understanding concerning failure help you to subdue and overcome your failures in the name of Jesus. Point number 2, a failure is someone who accepts the label of failure. This is the true meaning of failure. The moment you accept the fact that you are a failure, there is little or nothing anybody can do. This is why how you see yourself really matters. Do you see yourself as a failure or as a success? It's time to build a new image of yourself. Stop thinking as a failure. There is no way you can perform in a way that is inconsistent with the way you see yourself. You are not a failure for as long as you don't think so. I want you to remember that you are the only person who can really label what you do a failure. I hope you can see why many people today battle with failures in their lives. It's simply because of seeing themselves as failures. You need to change this mentality if you really want to be a winner in life. Stop taking your failures personally and refuse to be a failure. Stop agreeing with what they have been saying. Stop listening to your distractors. Remember that what you hear constantly affects your self-image. Don't allow anybody to make you inferior. Don't allow anybody to give you a name that is not yours. Failure is not your name. For as long as you refuse to accept the label of failure, then there is no reason to worry, because you will surely win and not lose. You don't really have much control over what someone says. What you have control over is your perception and response to what they say. Refuse to accept the label of failure, because you are not a failure. Begin to embrace your true nature, with a success in every ramification of your life. At this time, I'd like to go on a short break. I'll be back soon. You are welcome back. I believe you are receiving a new understanding of what failure really means, and your comprehension of failure will put you in a better position of dealing with them. I pray that this moment won't pass you by. At this juncture, I'd like us to look at two more things that failure truly represents. Point number 3, failures don't have a positive attitude towards failure. What kind of attitude do you have towards your failures? Are they good or bad? The kind of attitude that you have will greatly determine your outcome or result in life. Are you the kind of person that never believes that something good is going to come out of their failures? Don't forget also that every disappointment is a blessing in disguise. Your setback is actually a setup for promotion and lifting if you have a positive attitude. I therefore encourage you to stop having a negative attitude towards your failures. I know there is a way failure crushes someone's spirit, but you need to maintain a positive and healthy attitude in order to overcome your failures. Those who have a negative attitude towards their failures never really recover from their failures. This is why your attitude has to be right and positive. The difference between a success and a failure is in their approach and response to failures. If you keep seeing your failures from the negative point of view, you won't really overcome them. Stop believing that your failure can't teach you something. Stop seeing your failures as the end of the road for you. Develop and imbibe the right kind of attitude towards your failures. May today mark the beginning of such kind of transformation in your life. Point number 4, a failure is someone who has given up on himself or life. This is the true meaning of failure. Are you a fighter or a quitter? The answer you give will tell whether you will win the warfare over your failures or not. No one is a failure for as long as they keep on trying and pushing. Rather, it's those who have resigned themselves to fate that we can refer to as failures. It is those who throw in the towel easily that we can refer to as failures. But as long as you hang in there, you are not a failure. You still have the possibility of winning. My counsel to those who have given up hope is to fight again. Never say never. You still have the chance of winning. You are not totally out of it. Remember that once there is life, there is still hope. Never, never, never give up on yourself, because if you do so, you will be empowering failure in your life. You need to believe in yourself. You need to be an optimist. You need to give yourself a fair chance of winning. Giving up is worse than dying. Fight one more time. Keep pushing until something happens. Fight like a wild cat. The problem with many of us is that we give up too soon or so easily. I want to charge you today not to surrender your glorious future on the altar of failure. Don't sell your birthright. Fight for your destiny. Stop saying, I am finished. You can still rise again. Stop saying you have come to the end of the road. Remember that when one door closes, another one opens. You may need to fight a battle more than once in order to win. For as long as you don't give up, there is still hope. But the moment you give up, there is nothing to look forward to. Remember that winners don't quit and quitters don't win. My dear listener, I want you to know that you are not a failure for as long as you don't give up or throw in the towel. I do hope that this new understanding of failure will help and bring you to the place of total freedom from all your disappointment of the past. May your story change for the better. May the shackles of failure be completely terminated in your life. May something good and new begin to happen to you from today forward. This is where I will be calling it today on this broadcast today. But before I sign off, I'd like to remind you of the 4 things that failure truly represents. Number 1, a failure is someone who refuses to learn from his mistakes. Number 2, a failure is someone who accepts the label of failure. Number 3, failures don't have a positive attitude towards failure. And number 4, a failure is someone who has given up on himself or life. I strongly believe you have been blessed by this broadcast today, and I'd like you to join me next time for a continuation of this message. I am earnestly looking forward to hearing from you. It will be a great honor to be part of your joy and to see your dreams fulfilled. You can get across to me through any of these numbers: 0807 329 3648, 0809 806 0373, or 0702 8534079, or better still, be part of any of our services at Rema Civic Center, Agbowo Shopping Complex, opposite the University of Ibadan. I will be looking forward to seeing you, and may your dreams see the light of day. Till I come your way same time on this station, I'd like you to keep dreaming and to always remember that the dream is worth the prize. Bye.
You most definitely must have been edified by this message. God's messenger Yemi Adeoti can be reached by writing to P.O. Box 20233 UI Ibadan. You could please send a mail to pst@yahoo.com. You also have the option of calling the following numbers: 0807 3293648 or 0809 8060 373, 0807 3293648 or 0809 8060 373. You could also call 0702 853 4079, 0702 853 4079. Until it comes alive, keep dreaming, for the dream is worth the price.